You, Roger. And so Dzifa and I are going to do this as co-chairs of the Diversity Task Force. And I know tonight isn't, we've got to cover a lot of business, but I do want to first of all just thank Nick for what he raised earlier and say, I can't speak for the whole task force, so maybe they want to put it in the chat, but I wholeheartedly agree with what he said. I know it might be uncomfortable, but it's a poor position for us to be in that the 4 people we put onto the PCC are all white. And I don't think the answer is as simple as, well, we just need more black or brown people to come forward. I think it is much more complicated than that. The good news is that there is a forum, the task force, the Change Champions, other sessions we've run with the church, where we are talking about this and having much getting into the issue. So thank you, Nick. And we can't allow silence. So the reason I think why I applaud what Nick did is it might be uncomfortable, but we've got to speak out. We can't let that go by when we do that. And if that happens again next year, then I hope more people will do it. But I think a question on a lot of people's mind is, but is it a distraction? Are we just copying the world? Is this just woke virtue signaling? And I want to say, I absolutely feel what we're doing in Listening for a Change, addressing racial injustice, discrimination, and racism within the church is absolutely a gospel issue. And it's actually a great question for us all to think about as a church. It's been really challenging for me to think about, what does the Bible say about race? And as a task force, we've debated that a lot. It's been a really powerful, spirit-filled, word-fueled exercise. I'll say I've been asked a lot recently whether various important things in my life has changed me over the last year or two. This is the only thing that has. Everything else paled into insignificance to it. So, pictures of family in the Bible, of talking about every tribe, tongue, and nation, talking about righteousness in the Sermon on the Mount, all speak about racial justice. So it's something we've got to do. I'm really encouraged by then hearing the stories we've started to hear as a church recently, and you can see some quotes of what people have said in response to listening to those stories here on this slide. And I'm just going to read you, as people have written up their stories and then sent them in afterwards. I just want to read one additional quote from that somebody put in their story. Loads of positive things, but this is challenging. And this is a sister I absolutely massively respect in our church who wrote this. One thing that strikes me at All Saints is that the majority of white people sit on one side of the church and black people sit on the other side. People smile but aren't interested in having a conversation. I don't want to share things about myself if people aren't interested. I want to see that change. I know we as a church want to see that change, so we've just got to work at doing that. Dzifa.
Thank you so much, Andy. Hi, everyone. Such a pleasure to see you all. My name is Dzifa, for those who don't know me. I'm part of the Diversity Task Force, helping to run Listening for a Change. So I'm basically going to talk us through the actual process which we have been going through. What is Listening for a Change exactly? And we do have some slides. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see them, but I will start talking anyway. Thank you. So stage 1, it was really scoping. So looking at what this process was going to be. So the clergy hired Kate Coleman, Dr. Kate Coleman, to run this process for us. Together with the clergy and the then chairs, they scoped out what this process will look like. That then moved on to stage 2, where the plan was finalised and the whole church was invited to the process, essentially, to hear what it was about, to hear what Listening for a Change could entail, and to see if anybody was interested in being involved. And there was an opportunity to sign up as what we call Change Champions, to basically be the first people to go through the process with Dr. Kate Coleman. After stage 2, we had a prayer session, which was actually really, really powerful, and just a time for everybody just to lift their voices to God and speak about their own reflections, and to just ask for forgiveness where we may not have been as inclusive as we could have been. We moved on then to stage 3 and 4 of the process, which was the diversity task force, basically going on the listening process first. It was a really awkward, it was really awkward to start off with, because I suppose these kind of issues are never really spoken about in church. However, we really found that it really brought us closer together. We've been having much deeper conversations, and hopefully deeper relationships are formed in Christ. And we also were able to refine the process as well for the change champions, who then took on the process in stage 5. And as Andy said, it's just been a massive blessing just to hear all of the feedback that's come back from the change champions. And what we really want to do next is give everybody the chance to experience some of this process, to hear different people's experiences, hear different stories, to give your own feedback, give your own recommendations on what could be done better in the church to make everyone feel included. So on the 6th of June, we have Dr. Kate Coleman coming in on Sunday to preach. On the 8th of June, we've got Dr. Kate Coleman doing some of the Listening for a Change process for the whole church. So please come and join us.
Thanks, Dzifa. I've got to give a shout out here as well, and please prayers for the Stedfords, who've been amazing members of the task force, and Dzifa's not well at the moment, so I know she's just an incredible woman, married to an absolutely great man. So Ian and Tolu, you're in our prayers. We love you and thank you for all you've done through this. We wouldn't be where we are as a church without you two.